What's going on, Jays Nation? Welcome back to your home for everything Toronto Blue Jays. We've got three massive updates that just dropped in the last few hours. And if you're a true Blue Jays fan, you absolutely cannot miss what's about to go down. Before we jump in, if you're new here, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss the latest news and breakdowns on your Toronto Blue Jays. Let's get right into it. Update number one, the Cuban connection. The Blue Jays just made an under-the-radar move that could pay off big time down the road. They've officially signed 18-year-old Cuban right-handed pitcher Alis Torres as an international free agent for $200,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. $200,000 isn't exactly headline-grabbing money, but hear me out because this kid has some serious potential. Torres left Cuba in 2024 and has been developing at the Chiquimajas Academy in the Dominican Republic. His fastball already sits in the low 90s and touches 94 miles per hour, which is pretty impressive for an 18-year-old. But it's not just about velocity. He's also working with a changeup and a slider, giving him a three-pitch mix that the Blue Jays development staff can mold into something special. The report suggests there's real upside with his breaking stuff, and if they can refine that slider and changeup, this kid could turn into a legitimate prospect in a few years. This signing fits into a bigger pattern for the Blue Jays. They've had real success bringing in Cuban pitchers over the last few years. Rafael Sanchez signed back in May 2022 and has already worked his way up to Double-A New Hampshire. Solano Havaria signed in 2024, and at 22 years old, he's already ranked as a top 20 prospect in the system. The Blue Jays clearly have a pipeline and a development plan for these Cuban arms, and Torres is the latest piece of that puzzle. Here's where it gets interesting. This move was made possible by the Miles Straw trade from back in January. The Blue Jays took on Straw's contract and in return got $2 million in international bonus pool money for 2025. That trade was originally designed to help them chase Roki Sasaki, who ended up signing with the Dodgers, but the bonus pool money has allowed them to be aggressive with international signings like Torres and Korean righty Moon Jun, who signed at the end of the regular season for $1.5 million. With the Torres signing, the Blue Jays have about $400,000 left in bonus pool money, and here's the catch. That money doesn't carry over to next season. They have until December 15th to use it before the 2026 period opens on January 15th. So keep your eyes open because there's a good chance they sign another international prospect in the next week and a half. Now, there are some financial implications to keep in mind. The Blue Jays will have $500,000 deducted from next year's bonus pool because of the Anthony Santander signing last season. They'll also lose $1 million from their 2027 pool as a result of signing Dylan Cease. Those are significant hits, but they show that this front office is willing to sacrifice future flexibility to win right now. This is a smart, under-the-radar move, and Torres could be a name we're talking about in a few years if the development goes right. Update number two, the million-dollar question. Is Bichette more likely to sign than Kyle Tucker? All right, Jays Nation, this is the one everyone's been waiting for. The Blue Jays have already been incredibly active this offseason. They signed Dylan Cease to a 7-year, $210 million deal. They reportedly agreed to a 3-year deal with Korean baseball organization MVP Cody Ponce. But the biggest question still looming is what happens with the lineup. Do they go after Kyle Tucker or do they bring back Bichette? Let's start with Tucker because the rumors have been absolutely insane this week. The top free agent outfielder on the market was reportedly spotted visiting the Blue Jays' state-of-the-art facility in Florida on Wednesday. And that's huge. Tucker has a career OPS of .865 with 147 home runs. He's projected to get at least 10 years and $350 million, with some estimates pushing closer to $400 million. ESPN's Jeff Passan even reported that rival executives already see the Blue Jays as the favorites to land him. That's not speculation. That's coming from people inside the game who are watching this situation closely. But here's where it gets complicated. MLB insider Mark Feinsand recently threw a curveball into the mix by suggesting that Bichette is actually the more likely candidate to sign with the Blue Jays. Why? Because there's less competition for his services compared to Tucker, who has multiple big market teams circling. That makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Bo has spent his entire career in Toronto. He's a 2-time All-Star. He's publicly said he wants to stay. He's a massive fan favorite. And Bringing him back would be a lot cheaper than committing $400 million to Tucker. The debate comes down to money and fit. The Blue Jays just gave Vlad Guerrero Jr. a 14-year, $500 million extension. Committing another $400 million plus to Kyle Tucker on top of that would be an absolutely insane amount of money tied up in just two players. For Bichette, Blue Jays insider Keegan Matheson suggests the team should look at a deal comparable to what the Giants gave Willie Adams last year. 7 years, $182 million, which would give Bo an average annual value of about $26 million. Matheson even floated the idea that Bo could command up to $200 million depending on how negotiations go. From a fit standpoint, Bo's bat is elite, but there are legitimate questions about his defense at shortstop. There's been talk about potentially moving him to second base, which would make things easier defensively. Tucker, on the other hand, is considered a better all-around player who provides elite production and plays solid defense in the outfield. But here's the kicker. Feinsand didn't rule out the Blue Jays signing both. He noted that Toronto has enough money to do it if ownership wants to go all in. That would mean carrying 7 contracts valued at least $16.5 million, which is an absolutely massive payroll commitment. But after coming within 2 outs of a World Series title, the organization is clearly motivated to push all their chips to the middle of the table. For now, the conventional wisdom says Bichette is the more realistic option because he's cheaper and he's already expressed his desire to stay. But that Tucker visit shows the Blue Jays are serious about adding an impact bat, and with the winter meeting starting Monday, this saga is about to reach a boiling point. Update number 3, the brutal reality check. The Blue Jays' biggest free agent signing just got named one of baseball's worst contracts. All right, Jays fans, this one stings, but we have to talk about it. Last offseason, the Blue Jays made a huge splash by signing veteran slugger Anthony Santander to a 5-year, $92.5 million deal. General manager Ross Atkins called it a perfect fit at the time, a power bat who could do damage on a nightly basis. Unfortunately, year 1 was an absolute disaster. Santander's first season in Toronto was derailed by injuries. He dealt with a left shoulder dislocation and back inflammation that kept him out for most of the year. He did return for the playoffs, but another back injury ended his postseason early. In just 54 games, he hit .175 with only 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. For context, the year before he signed, he hit .235 with 44 homers and 102 RBIs. That's a catastrophic drop-off. This brutal first season led to MLB analyst Cody Stavenhagen of The Athletic naming Santander's deal the 4th worst contract in all of baseball. Stavenhagen wrote that while the Blue Jays made the World Series, they did so largely in spite of Santander's performance. He pointed out that Santander's career on-base percentage is only .305, and he provides little defensive value. The reality is the Blue Jays might be stuck with this risky profile for the next 4 years. And while the deferred money makes it slightly easier to stomach now, it's going to feel a lot worse down the line if he doesn't turn things around. The good news is that one bad contract isn't defining this front office's approach. The Blue Jays are being incredibly aggressive this offseason. They've already made their statement with Dylan Cease. They're pursuing Kyle Tucker or working to bring back Bo Bichette. General Manager Ross Atkins has said this is an extremely productive time for cutting to the chase on priorities and opportunities. Ownership and team president Mark Shapiro are giving every indication that they're willing to push payroll even higher in their quest to win a championship. The team currently has the 7th best odds to win the World Series at plus 1,600, which shows that the rest of the league respects what Toronto is building. Santander's situation is a harsh reminder that not every big signing works out, but the organization is clearly learning from it and doubling down on their pursuit of championship-level talent. All right, Jays Nation, what a day. We covered the sneaky, high-upside international signing of Torres. We broke down the Bo Bichette versus Kyle Tucker debate, and we faced the brutal reality of the Anthony Santander contract. The message is clear. The Blue Jays are all in. From developing young international talent to chasing the biggest names in free agency, this team has the money and the motivation to bring a championship back to Toronto. The winter meetings are here, and the rumor mill is about to go crazy. What update fired you up the most? Do you think the Jays can sign both Bichette and Tucker? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for nonstop Blue Jays coverage, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a breaking story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Go Jays, go.